welcome you to the 1990 Football Awards Banquet. The Booster Club appreciates all the support the parents have given this year. This year was the first year we attempted a raffle. It was a great success. We made a little over $3,000. Another big money maker is Oak Fest. Thanks to all of those who volunteered to work, we made $1,500. This year's profits will be used for protective equipment to help cut down on injuries. Thanks again for all your support this year. We wish to thank the coaches for all the work they have spent with our boys. Each division, freshman, sophomore, and varsity, have had exciting games and a few heartbreakers. But for all of us fans, every game was a game we were proud of. To the freshmen, we hope you enjoyed the first year and look forward to sophomore year. To the sophomores, we look forward to seeing you up to the varsity. What a team in '91. To our juniors, we had a taste of state playoffs, and all of us are planning next year's playoff attire. Next year's varsity teams are, for the third year in a row, state playoff material. Last but not least, we wish our seniors only the best in the future. We have enjoyed all 4 years of your high school football career. It was great cheering at the state playoffs for 2 years in a row. I think all of us here today are proud of all the football players of the 1990 Banquet. Thank you.
Well, I'd like to welcome everyone. I'm Scott Lewis. I'm the athletic director. And I'd like to give a few thank yous. I promised to be brief. I would like to thank our Booster Club for putting on the dinner today and for all their support throughout the entire season. And I think all the guys over here owe their parents a big round of applause. We filled our side of those bleachers every time this season. My privilege to be athletic director of Oak Forest for the past 3 seasons. I was very fortunate to start off with Coach Johnston when he began his tenure at Oak Forest. I understand all the hard work that all these young men put in to be successful, but I tell you what, we've had a lot of talented athletes at Oak Forest, and in the past 3 seasons I've seen a total transformation of our football program. And I believe that it's owed directly to Coach Johnston and his coaching staff. I'd like to thank them. Next, I'd like to introduce Mr. Ed Roberts, principal of Oak Forest High School.
I'm much more comfortable talking this way than I am preaching. But there's a couple of things I'd like to call to your attention. Number one, the success of Oak Forest not only is good athletes, but goes back to the wonderful success and support you get from this community. Witness all the gifts that were given today through the football boosters to hand out to the participants here. Another example of this, and I'd like to at this time acknowledge Mayor Maliki. Jim, I know you're over there someplace. Please stand up for a round of applause. In the now 5th year that I've been at Oak Forest, I've gotten to know this man. His generosity is unbelievable. And we thank you from the bottom of our hearts for the scoreboard and for that wonderful fireworks display at homecoming. We have a kicker, and we do, by the name of P.J. Johnson. But there's another kicker who is kind of operated without much fanfare, but during the preseason of the Bears football game, I believe it was at the Miami game, she was selected to go down and try to kick on the field at Soldier Field. And I don't know how successful she was, but Kelly Jacoby had a check sent to us from Coca-Cola for $100, and Kelly, my second favorite project is putting some greenery around the school. We will be planting a tree with that $100, and it'll be the Kelly Jacoby tree. It'll be easy to spot because it'll be the best looking tree we got. Next, I'd like to introduce a lady who many of you as students do not know because she operates out of the special ed department. But this wonderful person has been our cheerleading sponsor this year, and in all honesty, she is probably one of my favorites in a position like this. Mrs. Jan Greco, who will...
squad is here today. They have done an exceptionally good job, and they have also this summer at summer camp, they were awarded a prize that I don't think has ever happened before in Oak Forest, at least not that I know of. They have earned the right to go to international competition in Nashville, Tennessee. We've been fundraising our little hearts out since August, and we're going to make it. We're leaving for Nashville on December 26th. The girls will be in competition from the 26th through the 30th, and we'll be returning home on New Year's Eve. So I wish them all a lot of luck. One of the cheerleaders on the sophomore squad has also been chosen on the Team America squad for Nashville. The captain of the sophomore squad, Erin Flanagan. Other members of the sophomore squad, we have Taryn Collins. Taryn will not be receiving a letter today because she already received the sophomore letter, but she will be receiving a certificate. Noelle Duplantis. Tracy Jackson. Melissa Mikula. Amy Tenkis. Julie Powell. Our co-captain, Tracy Slocum. Jenny Sparacino. And last but not least, Sarah Stevens.
We'd like to present four great coaches with these gifts and flowers on behalf of our appreciation for all they do for us. Thanks again, Mrs. Graham, Ms. Bury, Mrs. Fowler, and Mrs.
Okay, the cheerleaders were fun to look at and watch. It's only after that they go first. But we get to the backbone of our program, which is our freshman football team. The backbone of any program is the coaching staff, and more so on the freshman level where it's necessary for the coaches to teach fundamentals, teach good citizenship, responsibility, and hopefully win a few football games at the same time, but that is not our main objective. Our main objective is to prepare the boys to move up into the different levels of our program. And the two coaches I had on the freshman level this year did an outstanding job. Mr. Greg Hickey and head coach Ron Stoops.
Mr. Hickey's going to make Adrian all the talking today. He has a cold. Alright? If making good football players was a job we had to do this year, I think we were successful. Good teams are going to start off with good kids, and thanks to you parents, we had a lot of good kids come out this year. Started the season with about 53 kids. And I'd like to this time have these two boys stand up. With 53 kids and two coaches, it was a little rough to hand out equipment. And especially when the last 10 guys came in with, while we were out practicing already for 2 weeks. And I'd like to acknowledge Al Hikes and Dan Simpson. I'd like to also thank Al for the verbal education he gave the freshmen on the Clement film. A lot of people ask me why I come over to coach because I'm already at one school. It really isn't for Mr. Johnson and Mr. Hart. It's really because Candy makes great lasagna and Becky's got a sense of humor in the family. I'd like to call the boys up. Right now, the young men, they did go through 9 weeks of a real grueling type of season. If you take and put about 40 pounds in each one of these kids, we're going to have a heck of a football team to look forward to. And without hesitating, I'm going to call them up now. First, Jim Egg, Greg Andrew, Kevin Bennett. Chris Carlson was out for a while, but Mono took over, and that was the end of the season. Thank you for joining me. Tom Crucial, Eric Wright, James Cernage, Joe Discola, Mike Donald, Tony Jacoby, Kevin Rosa, Dan Harwell, our quarterback, Kevin Healy, and finally out of the season, Kevin Jelmet, Jim Jensen, Joe Jasinski, Brazil, Jason Brazil, and Art, Jimmy Art. Matt Casa, Mike Kopazinski, Mike Lepore. I'd also like to thank Mr. Lepore for giving us those balls from the USFL. Tom West, Joe Loving, can't end the season without Joe Loving, Corey Lorenz, Tom Lynch, Brian Malloy. Daryl Martin was our manager this year. Enriquez Martinez. Henry. Matt McGovern. Brian Montefoca, the Orient Express. Adrian Nazar. Jeremy Neufeld. Tom Novak. Matt Presidente Olino. Mike Paradiso. Robert Regan. Jason Reed. Neil Rodak. Joel Rosales. Roosevelt. Jay Stamus. Joe Sanchez. Mike Stacy. Nick Tessari. Mike Wildersmith. And Greg Wilson. These boys had a real good season this year. We'd like to see each and every one of them come out again next year. If I can leave them with one last word as their head coach, I would tell them, live and get big. You guys are going to be a fun football team. Thank you.
Well, the boys start out to be, as you can see, somewhat small. They grow not only physically but mentally, and they're now prepared for the sophomore level. And again, I'm very fortunate to have two outstanding coaches on the sophomore level who did a great job with the group of boys that they had. Coach Wayne Maluski and Brian McDonough, who will present the sophomore team.
First off, I would like to start by thanking the Booster Club for everything they've done for our players and for this wonderful banquet we throw every year. It's the best banquet I've ever been to. Okay? Secondly, I would like to thank the administration, Mr. Ed Roberts, and the athletic department led by Mr. Scott Rose, the athletic director. I would also like to thank Al Heights and Dan Simpson for all the help they've given us, getting our uniforms together and helping us every day in practice. I would also like to thank the rest of the coaching staff. I've learned a lot working on this coaching staff. Every day there's something new to learn. I would also like to thank Mr. Wayne Maluski, who I worked in a lot of fun with this year. Most importantly, I would like to thank the parents, okay? Without the parents, this would not be possible. Okay, now, this year we went 2-1 in the conference, and we were always in the ball game. I don't think we ever lost by more than 6 or 8 points. This team is going to be the backbone of varsity next year. There's a lot of talent on this team. A few bad breaks, we could have been easily 7-2 this year, easy. Okay, I'm going to call out the boys. I'd like them to line up there in the straight line and receive their awards. Okay, Paul Bagwell. He played offensive guard and linebacker for us. Owen Baker played defensive end and offensive tackle and guard for us. Keith Karate played fullback and linebacker for us. Jason Darnell. Jason was our wide receiver and defensive back. Dan Galvin. Dan was our offensive guard and our defensive end. Chris Garcia. Chris played offensive guard and defensive tackle for us. Sam Gillespie. Sam played a little bit of everything for us, mainly a center. Brian Moffer was our tailback, and he also played cornerback and safety for us. Bill James was our wide receiver, and he was also a linebacker for us. Derek Jones. Derek was tackle for us. Tom King. Tom was our quarterback, and he also played cornerback for us. Casey Knight. Casey played defensive cornerback for us. Dave Mahoney. Dave was our captain. He also played tailback and cornerback for us. Chuck McCormick played tight end for us. Tight end, linebacker, and defensive end. John Murphy was a quarterback. He played cornerback also. Bill O'Malley was our tight end, and he also played defensive end for us. Mike Rosales was our center and our inside linebacker. Keith Marchek, Keith was our defensive tackle and our fullback. Tony Sansom. Tony was a tailback for us, and he also started a defensive tackle. Sean Schultz. Sean played wide receiver for us, and he also played cornerback. Tim Sherry. Tim played linebacker and wide receiver for us. Lee Snyder. Lee played wide receiver for us, and he also played defensive back. Ryan Winnick played offensive tackle and defensive tackle for us. And Mike Marszakowski played defensive tackle and offensive tackle for us. They all did a great job for us. Just a good group of guys.
Don't think we didn't catch anything. We collected money, but we didn't get anything. We didn't bring it here today, so get into you in school what happens.
to introduce my offensive and defensive line coach, who did an outstanding job and has done an outstanding job. I've been the coach here for 3 years, and Coach Murray's been with me for 3 years, and he's done an outstanding job every one of those years. So I'd like to have everybody give a round of applause for my offensive and defensive line coach, Coach Doug Murray.
Thanks, Woody. Okay, my job tonight is to present some awards to our offensive and some donated defensive linemen. First of all, before I go on, I need to really thank the boosters. Sometimes it gets very hurried out on the field, back and forth. And I've been here in this district for 3 years, and I sincerely appreciate the job you've done for not only the players, but also for our staff. So I thank you very much. I'm going to go down the list now. I'm going to read some of the juniors' names off, and then I want to get to some of our senior starters. And I've been with the seniors for several years now, and I get very attached to them. And I became very attached to our junior crew this year. They were a lot of fun. They worked very, very hard, and they asked anything you asked of them, they did, and they did it with a smile on their face, and they said, anywhere I can help, Coach, let me do it. So I'd like to present those people. The first person we have is Mark Mysek. Mark doubled a little bit as a defensive tackle, defensive end. And you can see Mark is putting on weight. He's doing a good job in the classroom, and he's going to be a force for us next year. Our next person, I think, is not only going to be a starter next year, but certainly has the possibility of being an all-conference type of ball player. He works at inside linebacker. He saw some time at center, and his hitting ability and contact ability and desire in practices got stronger and stronger as the weeks go on. Jason Bodden. Our next junior came out and found it difficult at first, and very truthfully, we didn't know if the boy was going to stick out with us for the entire season, but he not only surprised us, but impressed us, and we think with weight work and moving some things around for this boy, that certainly he can be a contribution to our program for next year and maybe be a force someplace. Dave Wetzel. Our next boy improved as the weeks went on. He played basically on our demo teams. Never said anything. He took some hard hits at times, and he just kept coming back for more. Again, I was impressed with the intensity that he kept up. Maybe not being in the limelight all the time, but really working hard to contribute to the program. And he'll play someplace next year. John Crouch. Our next boy again follows that suit where our juniors ran into some difficulty because we had just such outstanding seniors this year on the offensive front. He played some demo team. He did get into some ball games. He did contribute. We feel that the defensive end is probably going to be his position next year. He knows he's going to have to get a little bit stronger to be a force in that position. Jim Milhoff. The next boy, I always had fun with this boy practice because no matter what happened, no matter what was going on, what was said, he was always trying to do the best, trying to outthink you, trying to ask questions. And this is the first time this boy's played organized football. And we really feel right now that his potential as a starter is great. And with weight work and keeping up that good attitude, we feel that he can start somewhere in the defensive front. Bob Barrett. The next 5 boys really have a place not only at Oak Forest High School in their heart, but also in mine. You know, a lot of things change as a new coaching staff takes over and different things are done in the program. And of course, the more that you win, there's a little bit more pressure to succeed all the time. And not that there's anything wrong with it, but it does take its toll on the kids. And you become very, very close with the ups and downs that you go through, not only in football, but also on the offensive front, because so many different things happen up there. The next 5 boys, we've been together for 2 years now, and we just had a great time together, and I'd like to just recognize them now because they're very special to me. The first boy is one of our offensive tackles. Did not start at the start of the season. He worked very, very hard. He worked on his contact ability, his ability to read and block defenses as it needed changing during the ball game. And I just can't say enough about the boy. He's one of our mainstays. And when we needed some real tough yards, we did go his way most of the time. Joe Suda. And the other tackle, again, is a boy that was a 2-year starter for us. He's one of the nicest young men that I know. If you had to carve a son out and say, I'd like to have this boy's attitude, or I'd like to have this boy's personality, or I'd like to have this boy's honesty, this boy's name comes right up to the front all the time. He's in basketball right now. He's a 2-sporter. He started 2 years for us, and our other tackle, Dan Moore. The next boy probably kept things as light as they could be up with the offensive front. When Coach Hart is calling options and passes and we're going everywhere all over the field, we tend to have something called reversal. That means if you're going left, we go right. If you're going right, we go left. And Danny had sometimes fun with reversal. And just the way his demeanor on the field, the way he led us in running and sprints and conditioning, and of course the way that his personality was, it was just fun to be around him because he was never a person that said, no, I can't do this, or no, this team can't do that. It was always team in front of everything, team in front of everything, and let's get the job done. One of our guards and honorable mention all conference, Danny Ahern. The next boy was our spokesman of the offensive line. And again, there was never a dull moment over the last couple of years. A lot of things change in the defensive front, so blocking sometimes becomes somewhat intricate, and sometimes everything just isn't the way you diagrammed it. And this boy would make calls at the offensive line. He would call with our guards, call with our tackles, and there's much more going on up front than meets the eye. Greg started last year for us some of the games on defense, and of course, when he came in this senior year, he was quicker, his blocking ability had improved, and he had very, very sure hands. And we moved him from a guard type of position into the center position, and don't let his size fool you. He was one of the top centers in our conference, and when we gained a lot of yards running that option up in front, Greg is one of the leaders on it. Our center, Greg's center top list. Our last senior starting offensive lineman was a 2-year starter for us. A lot of things that Steve and I talked about go far beyond the field of football. We talked a lot about different situations, family life, life after football, life in college, and certainly how we can help Oak Forest be a better football program as well as a better school. His leadership was just such that he was just a joy to be around. Everybody liked him. It was a real camaraderie type of thing. He started 2 years for us, and also was nominated all-conference at right guard, Steve Benarche. And one last award to present, and this goes to, well, let me back up. It's an award given for a 110% award. It's named after Joe Spivak, who was a former player at Oak Forest. And it's very, very difficult when you've been with people for so many years to pick out one over the other. So when I decided to look at this award and start to go with the 110% award, I tried not to look at who's better or anything. I got away from that. I looked at contributions both on and off the field, little things that people said, little things of leadership, and certainly several of these boys have so much leadership capability in them. But when it came down to it, we looked at one boy for the 110% award, and I can present that award at this time. Again, was an all-conference guard, and Steve Benarche. My name is Troy here. Gang, thanks a lot for the kids for their input. Thanks to the boosters, parents, and let's get them next year.
Another one of my coaches who has done a fantastic job for me and for the team, our defensive coach, who probably has several nicknames for the players, and the players have several for him. But he does a heck of a job, Coach Brian Muick.
Well, I'm not going to make a big speech about everybody I got to talk about. I think you guys all know how I feel about it and the rest of the staff, so we'll get right to it. I'll start out with the juniors. We'll be back for one more year. Actually, we have a particularly unusual situation. We'll start out with a sophomore that played with the varsity almost during the whole year. Did a real nice job. I don't know if all the parents realize it or not, but to play varsity football as a sophomore is a pretty big accomplishment. There's quite a deal of pressure involved, and in my opinion, he did a very fine job this year. Number 22, Bucky Randall. please. Our safety, Jason Jones. It's also my pleasure to announce for 1990 the Outstanding Defensive Player. This was nominated to the defensive player we thought was the most valuable, or the guy we would likely not like to have on the playing field. We did miss him for a few games, and it really did hurt us on the defensive side. The winner of that award this year is Dan Brokaw.
The other fellow coach, person who I've coached with on and off for 21 years, the offensive, the man behind the offense, Coach Tim Hart.
Thanks very much. I would like to say one thing about the offense, being an offensive coordinator. Sometimes the coaches are given more credit than they really deserve. What coaches do, in my opinion, is not lose the game for the players. However, it's up to the players to execute the plays to make them work. There are no magic plays that automatically win games. And the players, I think, are beginning to understand that sort of thing now. So as a coaching staff, what we try to do is not to make a mistake so the players are unable to do the job when it comes to running offensive plays. One other misconception I'd like to dispel, there are some people who think that this is my offense. I had nothing to do with this. This offense is Mr. Johnston's offense. He spent most of the winter working this thing out. And my job is simply to stand on the sidelines and call the plays, execute it in practice. So if any credit is deserved from the coaching staff point of view, for the offense is really head coach Mr. Johnston. Now with that out of the way, I'd like to devote the rest of my time to the players who really deserve our recognition this afternoon. It's my pleasure to work with the backs and receivers, and they're the people who get all the recognition in the newspaper. Of course, they're also the ones who are blamed if something goes wrong. But I think we can go no further than the strength of our linemen. And I want to have everybody in the audience here, including the backs and receivers, give the offensive and defensive linemen a hand, because they deserve it. I'll start with the juniors who are going to hopefully do big things for us next year. At receiver, I've got Brian Rock, who is not with us, I don't believe. I hope Brian will stick with us and hit the weight room real hard so we can have a good season on him next year. Another potential receiver for next year is Kevin Mathis. Brian's probably home studying for his American history test. That's where Kevin should be right now. Another junior who's a veteran of our scout offense, probably the most overlooked special team on the varsity, and that's Jay Hilly. A player who we hoped would make some major contributions for us was hampered by injuries this year, and we hope that next year as a senior he will be able to overcome this setback in his junior year and be a all-conference type player for Oak Forest next year. Brian Seiger. out to our seniors. Starting at the split end for us, a position that takes a lot of blocking as well as running pass patterns and catching passes. Very important player for us, Tim Knapp. Another wide receiver for us, technically our tight end position. We only called it tight end because Terry was the slowest receiver we had. Terry Johnson. Our starting fullback all-conference fullback, the person who plowed out a lot of important yards for us during the season, somebody who we'd like to run a little faster sometimes, but very important contributor to our offensive team, Jason Richardson. Our tailback is not with us this afternoon. He probably got lost coming over here. All right? Jason Warhite. I'd also like to recognize another all-conference player, wide receiver. This is something new for Oak Forest, I think, a wide receiver, somebody who catches passes and scores touchdowns, Dave Bradley. Dave started the season as a defensive specialist. Last but not least, our quarterback, the man who the offense revolves around. It's a very difficult position to play. The coaching staff is very demanding on the quarterback, as I'm sure he'll testify to. But the offense does revolve around our quarterback. It should be more or less our best all-around athlete, Kyle Zielinski. It's my pleasure at this time to announce the outstanding offensive player. This is a difficult award for me to give because I think there are probably 11 or 12 outstanding offensive players. But to single one person out is something we must do, and the recipient is Jason Richardson. I'd like to thank the parents of the Booster Club for their support this year. It's been a great year. Thank you.
Not over yet. I know you're in a hurry to get home. What's the score of their game? 24-10 Bears at the end of the third quarter. Well, we always save the best for last. That means I get to talk. First off, yeah, okay. What I really meant by that is I had three people who did a fantastic job, who made my job far easier than it possibly could have been. And these three guys sometimes, like everybody else on the team, caught my fury, but there's no way that I can express in words how much they meant to me as being a football coach. And I think sometimes the players, freshmen, sophomore, and varsity, lose perspective on how much work these guys do and sometimes how much abuse that they take. First off, I had our statistician who was at every game, did an excellent job for us, and if it wasn't for him, some of our boys who were top running backs, receivers, and throwers in the area wouldn't have been able to get those stats in the paper. And they need to thank him a little bit, is Mr. John Morrissey. One of our equipment managers, and helping us out all year long, Mr. Dan Simpson. And the man behind the camera. He's been elevated this year. Everybody gets a promotion in our program. The man behind the camera, the eye in the sky, Mr. Al Height. It's very difficult to be named on the all-conference team. This year we had a three-way tie for first place, and every head coach goes in there with a wish list on who they would like to see make the all-conference team. Unfortunately, it doesn't always come out the way their wish list goes in. However, we did have 8 individuals, more than any other team in the conference, who were selected on the all-conference team. This is the second year in a row that the Oak Forest Bengals had more all-conference selections than anyone else in the conference. On defense, our sack leader, the person who led the team in sacks and quarterback Curry's all-conference defensive end, Chris Heights. Defensive outside linebacker, 2-year starter, Mr. Bill Ellinghouse. The man in the middle of our defensive signal caller as far as our secondary coverage, the man who probably took most of my abuse defensively, but did a fantastic job for us, Jason Jones, all-conference safety. All-conference as a junior and as a senior, one of the best kickers in the whole area, Terry Johnson. One of our offensive linemen did a fantastic job for us, as you already heard, all-conference guard, Steve Benarje. Wide receiver, one of the leading receivers in the area, the big play man on our offense, Mr. Dave Bradford. One of the best running backs in the area, a 2-time all-conference as a junior and as a senior, Jason Richardson. One of the leading quarterbacks in the area as far as rushing and as far as throwing the ball, one of the most difficult positions. We run a very complicated offense as far as the high school level is concerned, and there are very few high school teams that can expect their quarterback to do all the things that we do, but he did a fantastic job for us, obviously. The backbone of our offense, Mr. Kyle Zielinski, all-conference quarterback. I guess I'm somewhat like the sophomore football team. The award is not present, but I will make sure I get it to the proper individual. It would only seem natural that the most valuable player of our team would also be one of our all-conference selections. This person, we felt, if we removed him from the team, would be the biggest detriment to us as far as losing him. He seemed like whenever he was in the game, the team played with more confidence. more intensity, and they believed that we could perform miracles, which a few times we did this year. And that most valuable player is Kyle Zielinski. I know you're in a hurry, and I'm not going to talk long. I'm not a liar. I haven't said anything yet, but what I want to do is congratulate the seniors. I know for a fact that there was no way in the school history that a class of juniors and seniors could win 18 football games and lose only 4. Two-time conference champ. Hell, last year was the first year they even won the conference. Two-time conference champ, two-time state playoff contender. And I think that with their accomplishments this year and last year, they give the freshmen, they give the sophomores, and they give the juniors something to set their sights on. One of the things people say, and it's the truth, it's a lot harder to stay on the top than it is to get there. If we want to continue this success, the program is going to have to keep moving forward. And the way we move forward is with the support of the parents. When people in the community ask you about the Oak Forest football program, I hope you have positive things to say about it. With the support of the administration trying to do everything that they can possibly do to make our football team as well prepared as any football team in the area. With fine coaches that I have, and then, gentlemen, we need to have our freshmen, our sophomores, and our juniors to develop themselves into good citizens. Good citizens do not get into trouble in school. They do not get into trouble in the community. They get good grades. And they do 2 things. They work very hard in the off-season by either participating in another sport or by participating with myself in the weight room. The weight room is open every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday afternoons. And every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday morning. Actually, I'm there every morning, but if I miss any, it'll be Tuesdays and Thursdays. There is no excuse for anyone to be a 100-pound weakling, unless that's the way they want to be. Gentlemen, you've got to get into the weight room, you've got to get strong, you've got to get big. It's one thing to be small, but it's something to be small and weak. We've shown the whole area that we don't need 6'4", 250-pound linemen to be successful. All we need are people that have hearts bigger than the next guy. And that's what we have in the program. Our summer program is just as important. Parents, you might hear all kinds of rumors. Well, all I want out of your son is 2 days a week during the summer. That's all. I'm there 5 days a week. All I ask is for him to be with me for 2 days during the summer, minimum. And if they can't commit themselves to that amount of effort, how in the world are we going to get a first down when it's 4th and 2 on the 2-yard line and it's the last play of the game? Where the hell are they going to be? We won't be in the end zone. You make a commitment to the program, and you'll get out of it what you put into it. Again, I want to thank everyone for your support, especially my team. Again, you made my dream come true as far as being a successful coach, because again, your success, everybody points the finger and thinks that I'm some offensive or defensive genius, but I'm just a guy that likes to coach young people. And that's the truth. I have these 4 guys standing here. I don't know what in the world that they want. But I also want to say the last thing, and that's my coaching staff. The guys, people in the stands probably see my head jumping all around all the time. And I have a tendency of losing my temper. I lose my temper with everyone. There is no one who is sacred. My quarterback, my center, my defensive coach, my line coach, my offensive coordinator. The only person I don't lose my temper with is my wife. Right. She never does anything wrong. But I want to thank my offensive and defensive coaches, my lower-level coaches, for staying with me when times have been tough and I've lost my temper with them. All right, thank you very much.
On behalf of this year's offense, I'd like to present this to Coach Hart. We couldn't have accomplished everything that we did this year without him. I'd like to give this award to Mr. Muick, the defensive coach. He had us for 3 years, and it means a lot to me, and it means a lot to our defense. Give this award to Mr. Muick. Defensive lineman, we'd like to present this to Mr. Murray. Helped us a lot in the last 2 years. We'd like to thank you. 19-12. That's that man's record since he came to Oak Forest. You take out the first year of 1-8, because that's when everyone has to learn his new system. He's 18-4. 2 conference championships and the high school team of the week. He's the head coach of our football program, East Gene Johnston. On behalf of the entire varsity football team especially, we've had a lot of support, and it's a little late now, but it's better late than never. We'd like to give a little something to the Booster Club. They've given us more than we deserve, I'm sure. Well, maybe not, but a lot. I don't know. Someone sitting up here that's in the Booster Club that I can give this to. It's on behalf of the entire football program, but especially the varsity football team.
That's what the Booster Club is here for you boys. And anytime you need anything, just see us. We'd be more than happy to give it to you. We have a few more prizes. I know you're very anxious to get home. We have a few more raffle prizes we'd like to get rid of. But I'd like to also give out a few prizes here at the Booster Club. When we had our raffle, we had incentives for the boys. Whoever sold more than their asked 5 tickets would get something from the Booster Club. And we had 10 kids that sold more than their 5 tickets. So we'd like to recognize these boys with a little something from the Booster Club. Dennis Kolkovic.
I'll have it.
Jay Samus. Jason Jones. Jay Hilly. Daniel Howell. Jason Vodnick. Okay, we had 3 top sellers. Brian Saigon. TJ. Adam Galinsky.
Oh, yeah. Mom sold those for you guys.